Hey guys, today I want to share with you two coconut ferments that I love to make. And I first tried coconut yogurt at the farmer's market, and he was selling this size jar for $5, and I had one and it was so delicious. So I decided this can't be so hard. I'm going to figure out how to make it myself. So I tried it once, it turned out great. So this is my second try. So I am trying to remember exactly how I did it the first time, but I will share with you, and then it's an experiment. And the thing is, I looked over a few different recipes, and they're all just, vary slightly because it really depends on, the kind of coconut milk that you use and the brand and the consistency and the fat content. So I'm using Blue Monkey organic. So try to use organic and try to find, if you can, I don't know if this can is BPA-free, but see if you can. And in an ideal world, you would obviously use fresh coconut, but it's not an ideal world. The other thing I'm making is coconut water kefir. And kombucha, I love kombucha, but I often find that it still just has a little bit too much sugar for what I want. And I also don't like regular kefir because it's usually made with dairy. So this was when I found an alternative to dairy kefir. And I tried it, and it's just very, very mild, really good. And I'm always struggling to get more fermented food into my diet, and I always just forget. Like, I have a jar of sauerkraut in my fridge, and I always forget to eat it. And I know how good fermented foods are for your gut and for feeding the healthy microbiomes in your digestive system to improve your digestion. So it's really all about finding foods that you enjoy eating, and that makes it that much easier to make them. So with the coconut yogurt, so what I did today is I used 2 of these cans of Blue Monkey organic organic coconut milk, and I put it in a saucepan here, and I warmed it up. I actually brought it almost to a boil, and then I turned it off. And now I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of agar, and it's a thickener. I think it's a seaweed. And you can also use grass-fed gelatin for this, and this is really just basically to thicken your yogurt. So after you heat it up, and the heating it up and the bringing the temperature up is basically like to kill any bad bacteria. And so with agar, I think it thickens pretty quickly, so you want to kind of sprinkle it on top and try not to get it too clumpy. And then once you've sprinkled it on top, you don't want to overly mix it, because then I think it gets just too thick, too hard. So let it just kind of dissolve. And then you want to actually allow it to cool down to about 100 degrees. And then you're going to add in 2 probiotic capsules. And you need to make sure that they're capsules so that you can open them and sprinkle them into the coconut milk. And this is only after it cools down, because if you put the capsules in when it's too hot, it's just going to basically kill all that good bacteria that we're trying to preserve. So it has to be about 95 degrees, so you should be able to touch it without feeling like you're going to get burned. And then you can use sugar. You can use coconut sugar or regular sugar, raw sugar, maple syrup, but I'm going to actually use stevia. And I've been, over the last several months, trying to reduce my sugar intake. So I've taken out most sweet fruit, so I don't eat bananas anymore. Although over the summer with the peaches and the nectarines, I have been eating some of that because it's fresh, it's seasonal, and we only have it for a few months out of the year, so I think it's okay. But I still, that means I just try to limit sugar in other areas. And then after that, you want to sterilize some jars. So I'm going to fill these jars up, and then you just put the lid on lightly, not too tight. And then I'm going to just put it in my oven and turn the light on in my oven. And the light is actually going to create just enough heat, because you want it to be in a warm enough place so that the bacteria can grow. Don't turn your oven on, because that would kill it. So it just has to be warm enough, and with the light on, that creates the right amount of heat. And so with the water kefir, so I have water kefir grains. Oops. And I got these at the farmer's market here in Kelowna from Mother Love Kombucha, which is an awesome kombucha company that makes delicious kombucha, and they sell all the stuff that you need to make your own, and they sell the water kefir grains. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons, and I'm using a plastic spoon because kefir grains don't like metal. I think it kills them or something. And there's Gavin. So I have a sterilized mason jar. This is a quart jar. So I'm going to put 2 of these tablespoons of the water kefir grains. And then I'm using Zico coconut water. And again, you can, if you have fresh, you can bust open a green coconut and use fresh coconut. And so you want about a quart of coconut water. So I'm going to fill up my quart jar. The quart is 4 cups. And I'm not going to add any sugar. So a lot of recipes recommend that you put about a 1/4 cup of sugar with your quart coconut water. But I've done it without, and it still works. So you might need to, I'm going to actually add just a little bit more water kefir grains because I have them. And I'll just hope that there's enough sugar in the coconut water itself. There's natural sugar in coconut water. That will be enough to feed the kefir grains. And then I'm just going to lightly cover it with a towel and leave it on my counter. And it's summer, so it's warm, so it should be, again, in a warm spot, but not too hot. I wouldn't put it like in a sunny window. And then it needs to first ferment for about 24 to 48 hours. And you can just try it after, about 12 hours or 24 hours. And again, depending, you might need to wait longer. And then after the first ferment, which is short, it's only, again, a day or 2, you're going to strain out the kefir grains. And again, you want to strain it in, so I have this kind of like plastic strainer. Try not to use a metal strainer, again, because they don't like it. And so that I can then save them. And then I'm just going to put the kefir grains back in the jar, put it in my fridge, or I'll just make another batch right away. And these are grains that I've had in my fridge for a little while because I haven't made it in a while. It's been on my list, but I haven't gotten to it. And you can save that, and you're supposed to feed them weekly. I haven't been, so I'm hoping it still works. It's all an experiment. And then you want to make sure when you store the grains that you store them with some kefir, with some water kefir, with some of the fermented coconut water, so that they stay hydrated. And then the second ferment, you can add fruit. So after you strain the kefir grains, you're going to put it back in the jar, and then you can add fruit juice. You can add actual fruit, and that's going to create the fizziness, kind of like kombucha that we know of. Kombucha has makes it sparkly, and it's going to give it some flavor. So you can play with that. I think I used pomegranate juice before, and that was really good. You can try like fresh herbs like mint in the summer would be delicious. Mint and maybe lime. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but you get the idea. I'll write this all out after I make this, after I finish, so that you can save it and try it yourself. And I'd love to know if you've tried either of these, or if you make your own fermented foods and what you do and how you do it, and please share. And I will see you soon.